Well, the 4 o'clock hour is upon us, and it is time to get started. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Allston. I am your host, and welcome to the Tim Commandments of Leadership. The Tim Commandments of Leadership. This is where we do two primary objectives. Number one, we're on every weekday, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And at that time, what we do is we seek to educate, equip, and empower emerging leaders with God thought leadership. And number two, what we seek to do is present current events and newsmakers in the light of best practices from the Bible. Today, what we're going to do is speak truth to ego and courage to calling. Truth to ego and courage to calling. Today's episode is titled From iPhone 11 to Divine Assignment. From iPhone 11 to Divine Assignment. What is that in thine hand? Let's begin with a game-changing quote that I ran across in my Streams in the Desert devotional. It said, "There is no limit to what God can do through you, provided that you do not seek your own glory." There is no limit to what God can do through you, provided that you do not seek your own glory. Now, I read that passage on Saturday, Sabbath morning, and it shook me. I had to read it again on Sunday, and so here I am on Monday, still wrestling with it. And I'm wrestling with it because it is not just a quote. It is a mission. Not just a quote, it is a mission. It's a feels that the only limitation on my ministry is Tim Allston. The only limitation on your ministry, your serving people, is you. I was reminded of something that my mentor, Frank Carlos Guyan, said to me back in October of 1995, nearly 30 years ago. He said, "Tim, when I die, I want to die empty." I want to die empty. Back then, I thought that was just very, very poetic. Today, I know that it was more than poetic. It was prophetic. Because emptying myself is not a luxury. It is a necessity if I want God to fill me with his purpose. And then I had, over the weekend, yesterday, what I call my Moses 2.0 moment. My Moses 2.0 moment. Now, you know the verse. It's in Exodus 4:2. The Lord said to Moses, "What is that in thine hand?" In Moses' case, it was a shepherd's rod. It was ordinary to a man, but extraordinary in God's plan. For me, it was an iPhone 11, my iPhone 11. And now it became my Apple Watch. Let me tell you what I mean. Over the weekend, I had been trying to record some video reels for my leadership message, hoping that my wife could serve as my videographer so that I wouldn't have to do that old-fashioned thing of set the camera, press the timer button, and then run and get in focus to be photographed or to be videotaped. Well, unfortunately, she had another commitment that morning. So initially I was disappointed. So I paused, I prayed, and then I remembered Exodus 4:2. What is that in thine hand? Now, as a person who is a dues-paying, card-carrying technophobe, or as I like to say, I am E-tarded. I learned that from a friend of mine, E-tarded. I kind of shy away from technology a lot of times. But I made a commitment early on this year, said, "Lord, help me to get past that. That's nothing but a phobia. That's nothing but a thing. It's nothing but a mountain to climb to overcome, a river to cross." And so I've been working a little bit by little bit, trying to learn something new in the technology realm every day. So when my wife told me that she would not be able to make it because she was going to a Women's Day celebration at a local church. One of her close friends, who was one of her roller skating buddies on Mondays and on Thursday evenings, invited her to this Women's Day program. And so she consented, and so she went. So what that did for me, it pushed me out of my sense of laziness, and it made me say, "Okay, Tim, now you've got to find a way to make it so that you don't have to keep running because you're not going to stop from making these video reels. So you're going to have to figure out a way. And so therefore I paused, I prayed, and I remembered that Bible text, Exodus 4:2, what is that in thine hand? Well, what was in my hand was my old iPhone11 that I'm using right now as a camera to send my message out to you. And what was also available was my mostly underutilized Apple Watch. But here's the twist. That Apple Watch had a red camera remote video button built in. I had never used it before. I had never needed it before. But suddenly God whispered to me, that's your button, Moses. Press it. So I did. And that red button became the key to unlocking not just a video reel, but a revelation. God showed me, and this was powerful to me. Tim, you already have everything you need for this next step in your ministry. I just need you to surrender your ego, your limited self-confidence, and now submit to my unlimited God confidence. That's why today's episode is not just a leadership lesson. It's a spiritual confession. And here's what I've learned in just that brief object lesson. 3 main things that I learned that I want to share with you. Number 1, God often gives provision before we perceive the need. God often gives provision before we perceive the need. Or as I like to say it another way, God gives us the visions before he gives us the provisions or the provisions. Got it? Just like Moses already had the staff, I already had the iPhone 11, and I already had the Apple Watch gear. I just didn't realize its purpose, its larger purpose, until my ego and my expectations got out of the way. Number 2, your tools don't have to be flashy. They just have to be available. They don't have to be flashy, just have to be available. That iPhone 11 may be outdated by today's tech standards, but it was right on time in God's hands. Same with that Apple Watch. Number 3, there is no limit to what God can do through you. This, what I said earlier. There is no limit to what God can do through you, provided that you do not seek your own glory. That no longer is just a quote to me. That's the foundation of egoholism recovering. The moment that we give up our pursuit of needing to receive credit, then God can take over. Let me say it plainly. I've had enough of seeking glory for Tim Allston. I've had enough of hiding behind branding, trying to make marketable God's messages in me, such as egoholism recovering, and EMC squared, because they all came from God, not Tim. I'm just the mail carrier. I'm just the delivery person. And now God is asking me to stop being ashamed of the gospel that he's given me. The Apostle Paul said it best. He said, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I need to stop worrying about how to make this palatable for the marketplace and make it acceptable for God. He'll take care of the marketplace for me. So what's my new goal? There's several. Number 1 is to die empty when that time comes, to be so emptied of myself that I die empty. Number 2, I've learned from yesterday, is to press the record button with holy boldness. Press that record button. Holy boldness. Number 3, to show up for this calling that he's given me. Fully surrendered and fully available. This isn't just for me, it's for you too. What is that in your hand? Or in my case, what is that on my wrist? What have you been overlooking? What God has already placed within your reach? Have you been overlooking what God has already placed within your reach? What is that in thine hand? Maybe it's not an iPhone. Maybe it's not an Apple Watch. Maybe it is a journal, a quiet corner, a contact, a keyboard, a paintbrush, a student, a small group, or just a yes. Whatever it is, stop discounting it, stop lowballing it, stop discrediting, stop devaluing it. Stop waiting for the perfect. Use what's in your hand, because what's in your hand, which is surrender, is more powerful than what's out of your reach and what may be perfect. Okay. As I wrap up, let me leave you with this remix of Exodus 4:2, straight from what I call the gospel according to egoholism recovering translation. And the Lord said to Tim, Tim, what is that on thy wrist? And Tim replied, an Apple Watch, Lord, mostly used to tell time and count steps. And the Lord said, go thou now, Tim, and press the red camera remote video button, for I have given thee everything you need for this ministry. That's your word today, friends. Go press the button God gave you. Go open that laptop. Go start that thing, and you know what that thing is in your life. And then go bless the world. This is Tim Allston, the recovering egoholic, reminding you the only limit to what God can do through you is you. The only limit that to what God can do through you is you. Until next time, keep pressing forward and keep pressing that red record button. I hope what I've shared with you today is meaningful, has some weight, has some heft to it. I hope that you've been encouraged. I hope that you've been inspired. And I hope that you've been informed. I also ask you to share it with a friend. Invite the friend, have them rewatch it. Rewatch it with them, or give them the link and send it to them. And I'll be back tomorrow with another message for the 10 Commandments of Leadership. Thanks for joining me today. If you liked what you've heard, like us, share us, and subscribe to us. See you tomorrow.